At this point in time right now, there's a serious, serious divide. For 4 years, there was a side of this country that was extremely happy. Everybody was getting what they wanted. Nobody's feelings were being hurt. When somebody's feelings were hurt, you just push that button and the siren would come and you'd be in trouble. You'd lose your job. People are getting jobs because of their people misconstrue them as maybe disabilities or because of their sexual orientation, because maybe they're the first transgender person to hold the position. Everybody out there, the last 4 years, that mattered to a lot of businesses. Now, again, I'm going to go into a bunch of stuff that's going on with Doge and the initial firings and stuff. But if you really want to look and get into it, it's almost like we were kind of allowing people to get by because they had certain aspects of their life that people deemed maybe they were incapable of doing it on their own. I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying that, you know what? Maybe there are a couple here and there. But for me to even say that and come on a live broadcast and say that is going to rub people the wrong way. What I mean by that is I can make a simple statement like that and say, I feel that a lot of the DEI stuff that's been going on in the government and all jobs, it's even going on in the fire department, the police department, it goes on in my job, it goes on in jobs all across the country because they had to be done. Now, in order for me to say that, I could be misconstrued as being a very bad person for saying that. How dare you? How dare I what? Now let's really sit down and talk about a lot of this stuff now, okay? President Trump is president now. President Biden was president the last 4 years. Now, what happened in the last 4 years was everybody be nice to everybody. Okay. Everybody's used to that vernacular. Everybody's used to everybody saying, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Now, President Trump gets into office. It's a complete opposite. It's a complete different mindset, a complete different male mindset. What I mean that is you got the alphas, you got the betas, you got everything in between. I feel that Joe Biden was made into a beta by a bunch of beta males who are getting paid for a lot of this stuff. And then you got Trump coming in with that alpha sigma mentality, pushing everybody around. And everybody was like, oh, he's mean. Yes, he's mean. Yes, he might be a narcissist. I'm pretty sure he's a narcissist. But I'm also pretty sure that he's tough. I'm also pretty sure that one of the main things, one of the main narratives that a narcissist carries with them is the ability to win at all costs. It doesn't matter what they do, doesn't matter what they say. I feel that Donald Trump is coming into this with a full head of steam to completely change this country. Millions and millions of people voted for Donald Trump, and millions of people voted for a change. Not the change that Obama said he was going to bring back in 08. Wanted a change that we wanted our country back. We wanted to stop giving money to all these other countries. We wanted to stop letting the migrants in. We wanted to stop a whole bunch of stuff that was going on right underneath our eyes that nobody was doing anything about. In that, we created a lot of division. Now, when I say division among people on social media or it doesn't matter because that's what social media is there for. Social media is there to stir up a hornet's nest of opinions. And those hornet's nests of opinions creates a lot of division because everybody wants to be right and nobody wants to be wrong. When at the end of the day, they're all opinions because we're hearing stuff. Now, somebody had said on one of my posts on TikTok, I'll go into that in a minute because I'm about to speak to somebody briefly, Lisa Priest, who has a pretty interesting story. But for a 20-second video that was put on TikTok, people looked at me and they made a decision about my character. Now, between me and you, all that stuff that people were saying and stuff that's really, you're wasting it on somebody like me. You're wasting it on somebody like me because none of that stuff matters. None of that stuff matters in a macrocosm of what's going on in the entire world because I said something, you didn't like it, and that's it. So I could take all that. You know what? And that's probably why, and that's why I do leave off all the comments because I feel that I'm kind of impenetrable when it comes to that because I seem to be able to, I don't know what they call it, like a duck, let stuff just roll off you because, it's their words. at the end of the day. So maybe sometimes I might say stuff that could be misconstrued as, I guess, mean, maybe, or something like that. But at the end of the day, I just want what's right for myself and I want what's right for my family. And at the end of the day, that is the thing that matters. So who I voted for this year should not have any kind of bearing on me and you having a conversation outside of politics. Now, along the way of this couple of years, I've kind of lost three, I guess, friends, I guess you could call them. I don't know. Three of them I know a very long time, right? And all three of them have written me off, I guess. One ripped into me about the migrant situation, and the other ripped into me when I posted a picture of Tulsi Gabbard and RFK, congratulating them and letting them know that that's the reason why I voted for Trump. So both people have kind of written me off in their life. As a matter of fact, they've said some words that to me doesn't matter, but I couldn't believe it. I simply tried to respond back to one of these people saying, "Can we just go back to liking pictures of our kids?" And because that's what we used to do, instead of politics, we would just like pictures of our children. And he took that as an insult, told me to go fuck off, and kind of blocked me. All right, but that's fine. That's fine. That's this person I haven't seen in a really long time. The other person I haven't seen in a really long time. And the other person is just kind of, it's weird. I just don't understand why this person is not contacting me at all about something. Maybe he's just kind of embarrassed of my thinking. But I don't know. I just wish this, because they're part of a community. There's two of them that are part of the homosexual community. Okay. Now, the comments that I made were kind of directed in more of like the transgender community, because that's something just in my brain. And again, what I'm saying right now could be misconstrued as being hurtful or hate speech or something. But in the end of the day, I just don't understand it. Now, in this day and age, I cannot be for homosexual rights and be against the transgender community for what they want as far as rights, because I have to lump the two of them together. Because I am very sympathetic. I do believe in rights for homosexuals, gays, lesbians. I am for those rights. I'm for your rights to get married. I'm for your rights to have children. I'm for your rights to health care. I'm for every single right that you deserve as a human being. That is, I'll stand on that and I'll put my foot down till the day I die. I think that that is something that is born. You're born with it. It's rough. It's a psychological fight within your brain. And the only reason that there's a psychological thing in a conversation in your brain is because society deems it as not right. The Bible said it's not right. Somebody said it's not right. But at the end of the day, who are you and anybody else in this world to tell you what you want to do with your own body as far as being homosexual? Because it was explained to me by a very dear friend of mine who doesn't speak to me anymore in such layman's terms about 25 years ago. He looked me dead in the eyes and just said simply, "Rich, do you know how you feel about women?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I feel that way about men." And that just clicked instantaneously. And it's that simple. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I just don't understand the whole aspect of transgender. Now, in your head, maybe you think that you're male or female, you wrestle with it your whole life, you don't feel comfortable. That is just kind of like a psychology aspect of it too. But when you start lumping people into them changing the biology of their body, now that's just something that if you have a child that plays with dolls, or just you feel that, at a certain age, he's very young, 10, 11, 12, he doesn't feel comfortable in his body. He wants to change his gender. And in the day, it is gender, guys. It's male and female. You're born with certain parts, and there's certain things in your body that make you predominantly male and predominantly female. It's testosterone and estrogen. Unless you take all of that out of both of our bodies and just completely switch up our anatomy and switch up what we're made of, you're a male or you're a female. The whole process of changing that because you don't feel comfortable is fine. I'm for those rights as well. I don't think that I think you have the right to do that when you're over 18. Parents with children under the age of 18, personally, my values, I think you're making a serious mistake by switching up the gender and the biology of your child. It's something that they can make a choice on their own when they get to a certain age. And, if it's that bad, then they can go through it. So that being said, I got told by somebody in one of my posts on TikTok, why am I getting on my hill about this transgender issue in sports? There's a lot of people in this country that don't understand sports. There's a ton of people in this country that do understand sports. There's a ton of people in this country that their kids aren't athletically inclined, so they don't play athletes. They do something else. They won't be affected. There's also athletes in this country that compete at a high level, and these men and women go to college. Truth be told, I know everybody knows the story about Riley Gaines, and I know I bring her name up, and everybody thinks they're sick of her, and tell her to just shut up. But at the end of the day, she's right. She raced against a swimmer, Leah Thomas, who was 154th in the NCAA standings. Decides that she's going to compete, or he is going to compete against women. Now, a lot of these races, guys, weren't even close. So I am kind of talking about a biological strength, or I'm going to say two things. And again, might be misconstrued as me being, saying something out of pocket, but men are stronger physically than women. We have the testosterone. It's just within us. We're made up differently. We fight. We're physical, and we do all the hard jobs, meaning physical jobs, not all the hard other jobs, but the hard physical jobs. We're cops, we're firemen, we're construction workers. We build the world, we protect the world, we put out fires, and anything else that a man does because of his physical nature, that is what men do. Women, you are smarter than us, you're more nurturing than us, you care more about us, you think, your thought process is different than ours. So the only thing you guys have, we have the physical aspect of it. And in sports, that physical aspect carries on into the world of somebody raising a daughter, going for a scholarship, becoming the best swimmer, track athlete, you pick your sport in the world. And here comes somebody that decided that they weren't good enough to compete against men. So they're going to use their I have to you word this I have to word this thing very not very easily. People's mental capacity to not be able to compete and lose because they feel that it's not fair are going to switch and now compete against women, knowing all well they're biological males. Now, you don't get hurt in track, you don't get hurt in other sports that don't have a one-on-one advantage. But if you're boxing, if you're wrestling, softball, this starts, no one does anything about it. And I understand somebody wrote and said that there's 12 people in the entire country that this is affecting. Well, that's 12 too many. Softball, you're a softball player. What's going to happen when these games start getting to a point where they're recruiting transgender male pitchers and you have to hit a 95-mile-an-hour curved softball? It's just a physical advantage, guys. As far as them doing it, I don't have a problem with it. But as far as them thinking that they're going to take their disadvantage and run with it and feel that they need to be given special rights because of this, they're completely wrong. And anybody that feels that I'm a bad person for saying that because I was told that I'm the actual devil for feeling that, I just feel that physical, biological stuff is got to be taken